Thank you very much, Olivier, and thank you for welcoming me here to your meeting. As mentioned, my name is Bryon Holland. I'm the chair of the cCNSO, or the Country Code Name Supporting Organization. And when I'm not doing that, which seems to be most of the time, I'm also president and CEO of CIRA, and we're the country code operator for Canada. We do .ca. I thought Jonathan's introduction would provide an interesting point and counterpoint to the cCNSO, in that we also do policy for the country code operators, and there are 150 country code operators represented within the cCNSO. So it's not every country, but it's certainly the significant majority. And in terms of the number of domain names in the market, it represents the massive majority of domain names out there. But because we represent country codes, we are all typically bound very much by our sovereign countries and the legislation within those countries. So policy development certainly happens within the cCNSO, but it tends to be a little more, or it tends to be significantly more limited in terms of the types of policies that can actually be discussed and accepted across the entire range of countries represented within the cCNSO. For example, a policy that we did do a policy development process on would be the work around IDNs. So something like IDN policy is an activity that we engaged in as a policy development process. But to a very great degree, what we work on is best practices, sharing of information, ensuring that we can build safe, stable, secure registries, how we actually work in our markets, how we work with registrars, etc. So it's that rich and valuable sharing of information from around the world that really forms essentially one of the cornerstones of the work that we do within the cCNSO. In addition to that, we typically are also quite interested and involved in the internet governance space, changing metaphors from Fadi's bicycle. I'm going to talk a little bit about the landscape. I would say, and this uses a bit of poetic license, but over the course of the past year and a little bit, say stretching back to Wicked, then moving on to the IANA announcement and Net Mondial and things that have happened in between, it's safe to say it's been a very big year. And the landscape, I would say, has changed quite dramatically around us as a result. And then we've had the 5 strategic panels that have flowed to some degree out of those major events and have put forward a number of concrete recommendations and suggestions for the community to start to think about and wrestle with. And we've already seen that ICANN itself is putting forward the coordination committee, and there'll be work around accountability. So the coming year is also going to be an exceptionally important year where we have to do the work to actually start to shape that changed landscape around us. And I think it's safe to say that this community, ALAC, and the way that it speaks for part of the end user community is going to be absolutely critical to helping us shape the future that we want inside our countries, our country codes, and in the broader ICANN context. So this is going to be a very busy week. It's going to be a very busy year. And the work that ALAC does and the voice that ALAC represents will be absolutely critical to making sure that we create that landscape that we all want going forward in the internet. So I welcome you to ICANN 50 and look forward to the exchanges that we will have in the cCNSO world as well as the ALAC world, and would say, please get very involved in this process. It really is up to the end users to have an important voice on how we shape this new landscape. So with that, it's over to you for this week. Thanks, and welcome to ICANN.